everybody. Here we are in Coquitlam at the Westwood Community Church, and we're all part of the Make It Your Business tour with put together by Trinity Productions. I'm very excited to be a part of it. Obviously, Christine Anderson is also a part of it. And I've just met this lovely lady here, Eva Vlaardingerbroek.
Nice.
Vlaardingerbroek?
No, good job.
Not too bad,
Yeah,
right?
not too bad at all.
Okay. People probably always butcher your name, and you're probably sick of that.
Yeah, it's fine. I always make the same joke. I'm always like, yeah, I know, I need to get married.
And just be Smith, but then that would be boring.
Yeah, but maybe better. Maybe
But
better.
you're certainly not a boring person. From what I know, you're a lawyer and now you're a freedom fighter. What brings you here to Canada?
Well, I got invited by the lovely ladies of Trinity Productions to come and join Christina Anderson, who I've followed for years, and I've seen her work. I actually started out myself in the European Parliament as a trainee years ago.
Oh.
So our paths have crossed many times, but like I said, this was in 2019 and I was just a trainee back then, fresh out of law school. But yeah, I've been involved in politics for a while, and it was started out with national politics in the Netherlands, which was an absolute disaster for me. And then COVID hit, and during that time, I started my political commentary in English, and I moved to Sweden actually, where life was pretty normal, so to say. But yeah, so I followed the whole thing here going on in Canada with the truckers convoy, and then later I became very involved with the fight for the Dutch farmers. And that was kind of accidental. It was just something that I really cared about and something that I saw unfolding. And I thought this is much more important than it's really important for people to know what's going on here, because this is much bigger than just a political issue solely in the Netherlands. I saw it as, a similar type of globalist strategy, like what we've seen with COVID, where the government says, hey, we have a crisis, and you, ordinary citizen, or in this case, you, ordinary farmer, you are going to have to give up your rights, your property, your land in order to solve this crisis. And, I've taken a stand that the nitrogen crisis doesn't exist, that it's a political crisis manufactured by bureaucrats in the Netherlands and in Brussels. And that's kind of how all of that came about. So it's just speaking out for what you believe in, I guess.
Yes, and if we don't do that, we won't. You have to have a voice of dissent. You have to say what you see. If you see something, you say something, right? And I believe that the Dutch farmers were probably inspired by the Canadian truckers to have such a massive protest. And I think a lot of people would agree that just because the government says don't do this, don't do that, that might not be the right thing to do. So you said earlier before that you were involved in politics. Now the political world is changing, and it's scary, isn't it? What do you make of what you see going on politically, political decisions globally?
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's very clear to say that national sovereignty is something that is being cracked down on just about everywhere in the West. So, you'll hear me say that later on stage, but Canada, for example, a country that's 240 times the size of my nation, the Netherlands. But if you look at the policies that you guys are subjected to and that we are subjected to, it's almost indistinguishable. And you think, why, right? The countries that are so different in nature, in size, they will probably have different political needs, but we all have people in place who don't actually answer to the national people that have chosen them to be in power. They answer to a higher group or a supranational organization like the European Union or the United Nations or the World Economic Forum. And so these globalist policies that nobody ever really voted for are now spreading and are becoming sort of the main source of almost all political agendas in the Western nations. And that's something that coincides completely with the idea of democracy, right? So I don't put any of my hope in the political system at all, even though we just had an amazing win for a nationalist party in the Netherlands, which I think is a good sign because it shows that people, are waking up to the fact that globalist ideas are not the ones that they want. They are sort of starting to wake up to the fact that we are being ruled by different people than the ones that we voted for, and they're taking a stance against that. And I think that that's obviously a great sign of hope.
What advice would you give to an individual citizen? Because it's overwhelming. What can one person do?
Well, the thing is this, I meet a lot of people who say like exactly this. They're like, what can one person do? And it sounds like a cliche, right? But if everybody thinks, what can I do? Then nothing ever changes. And there are a lot of things that you can do. Like look at the brave men and women who go and join like school board meetings and stand up for their kids. Look at the farmers, look at the truckers. And it shows that when a lot of people do that and they come together and they stand united against these forces, we can actually get something done. So this tour, with Trinity Productions, called "Make It Your Business," and I think that that's the attitude that we all need to adopt. You have to make it your business. Start in your own community, start with your own family, start with your own friends, and it will have a ripple effect.
Eva Vlaardingerbroek.
Nice, yeah, you're nailing it.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Nice
Thank
to
you.
talk to you today.
Very
Thank
nice.
you. Okay.
Take that.